It is 8:30, so I will call the exec finance portion of this meeting to order. Personal bargaining. Hey, please. Thank you. The personnel bargaining chair want to call their meeting to order?
It is about 8:30. I will call the February 3rd personnel bargaining meeting to order. Have you done all your certifications and all that? Or?
I'm getting there.
Okay, you get after it.
Okay. Certification of the open meeting laws requirement have been met. I believe they have. Mary's certifying, yes. Adoption of our 19-item agenda. Prior to that, I would like to suggest that we move item 5, the public comment period, to right after we reconvene from closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Everybody understand what we said? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Kellen, you
I'll
can
take care of mine.
Yep.
I certify that open meeting law requirements been met with proper posting. We have a 7-item agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So our next item is a closed session.
Okay, well, I've got one on here for the adoption of our previous minutes.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Move to approve.
Turner, motion, John, second.
Yeah.
I zoom in.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, I need somebody to make the motion to go to closed session. Does somebody have it to read?
Where's our reader?
I can do that. Okay, I'm getting it up here. Oh, okay, I move that we go
Got
into
my
closed
glasses.
session. And item 4, closed session item, review of county administrator contract and performance.
This item is in closed session pursuant to WSStats 19.85, parent 1C, which permits a governmental body to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
You have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Nutter. Then voice vote. Do we each committee vote separately or we all vote together?
Nutter, yes.
Johnson, yes.
Nelson, yes.
Ryan, yes.
Austin, yes.
You guys want to, I don't know.
I assume that we really need to do the same reading. Will somebody from exec finance read the thing over again?
Sure.
Thanks, Bridget.
Closed session item, review of county administrator contract and performance. This item is in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 paren 1 paren C, which permits a governmental body to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
Okay, roll call. Larson, yes.
Turner, yes.
Seisha, yes.
Austin, yes.
Becker, yes.
Okay, we are in closed session. Okay, we're back into session here, and at this point, I will open up the public comment period, just in case somebody was waiting to call in or something. Leave it open for the next 10 minutes. And then I was asked if we could move the Iller's presentation up. Does anybody have any objection to that?
No.
With that?
Move it up.
Okay, so it's moved up.
You want to start it?
Somebody start.
Bridget, you want to start it? I mean, Rebecca?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just letting, and you're looking at me, well, yeah. I was just letting Amy know, because she wanted to listen in, so I wasn't sure if she was on board, on connected yet. So anyway, Brian and his team have been working with us, talking about how we now move bonding forward. And we're making sure to have conversation then, including Mary and Michelle in those conversations and how we include that. So include them. And so Brian is going to kick us off in talking about next steps.
All right, thank you. I recognize that from the committee's perspective, I think all of you have been through this, not just once, but a number of times, so I won't get into super gory details, but just to go back in time, recall, we spent a good amount of our efforts leading up to today talking through size of financing, how much to borrow, what the structure of the debt should look like in relationship to the impact to the levy. We also took a stab at some forward-looking exercises to contemplate additional future financing. And we're kind of culminating in the execution phase now with the 2025 financing that's just primarily related to road and bridge improvements throughout the county. There are some other ancillary costs, capital items, short-lived asset acquisition, that sort of thing, is also a part of the total borrowing. And so if you recall, again, going back to about late third quarter of last year, early first quarter, we kind of solidified around an overall finance plan. Again, I'm reiterating that although we talked about future debt issues, the notion was more about structuring this one to accommodate what all of you wanted from a prerogative in terms of what the future levy impact of additional financing would be. There was no obligation assigned to that in terms of the board taking action beyond this financing only. So in December, the board adopted an authorizing resolution, which essentially sets the stage to proceed with execution of financing. So that essentially sets a not-to-exceed amount for borrowing, which I think was somewhere around $6.5 million, right? So at this point, we're moving into, as I stated, the execution phase. And so just wanted to come back one last time and brief all of you so that you know what page we're on in the book. Or we're getting towards the later chapters, right? So at this point, we have a debt issue. It has been sized and structured so that we can put it all together, put the offering document together. We're going to go out to the marketplace. And the county has historically sold its bonds, in this case notes, but I use that term interchangeably, through competitive sale. So put the whole package together. We go out to the dealer, the bond dealer community, the ones that are buying your bonds and selling them to investors. So that they can give us bids, functional bids. So we would award to low interest cost. And so the next time we come before the board would be with results for the board to act on at that phase. And so again, we're past the preliminary, the planning stages. We're at the deal is kind of baked and we're proceeding forward. And so what we prepared is a pre-sale report. I don't need to go through a chapter and verse other than to just kind of talk through where we're at with size and structure. We've built the issue inclusive of all costs at this point. We're at $6.455 million in total size. We have the right to adjust on the day of sale, so we have some budgets in there for costs as we get closer to the day of sale. Essentially, we'll get all those final costs, and then when we get the bids back, we'll run everything back through and resize. So when we come back the next time, it will be a different number. It's actually a pretty rare occasion where it's the exact same number. It's most likely it will be a different number, but it takes into consideration the actual pricing that we receive. So we've got preliminary rates in there based on some recent activity. I'm happy to say the market has generally been your friend. There was a bit of a spike up in rates for some period of time, but rates have come back down to about where we started these conversations. We always put in a cushion, and in this case, our numbers reflect about a quarter point over current market, which would have you at, on an estimated basis, about a little under 4.5. Again, there's about a quarter point in there to hopefully accommodate for anything that happens between now and the day of sale. So we're targeting March 17th, your county board meeting on March 17th. So that morning, we would get bids into our office. We would tabulate them, run the final results. You will receive a draft resolution in advance of that meeting. It'll have a lot of blanks in it, but they will all get filled in on that day. The final resolution will come before the county board that evening. And we would come then to present results and walk you through everything that occurred, where you landed, in terms of overall financing cost. Once the board acts, then we move towards closing. Closing occurs a few weeks later. We did discuss the calendar a little bit with the staff, and it was identified that March would probably be best because that will still allow us to close essentially late March, early April, so that all the funding is in hand to be able to then execute on all of your projects. Some of those costs you've already incurred and you'll reimburse, but also as you go forward in time, now you've got the cash to make all the payments that are required on the construction side of things as well. All right, so tentatively, we're scheduled to close April 8th, so you'd have all of the proceeds at that point in time. If you have a chance to look over our pre-sale report, what you'll see in there is the size and the estimated payment schedule, and then also you'll probably notice that there are some similarities between some of the planning material and some of the exhibits in there, and it shows the levy impact as well. And that was ultimately kind of putting everything through the filter, and that's where we came out with desired characteristics from a levy impact perspective, where we kind of step up a little, and then we'd have the opportunity to potentially fill in with reduced debt service. Where it goes down, we would maybe add more over time if that does happen. So, any question? There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, which I don't necessarily need to get into unless you'd like to know those sorts of details, but I'll just pause and see if there are any questions from the group at this point.
I have a question, and maybe it's because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but, so you're asking, Becky, I guess you're asking for 6.6. We don't know what yet, obviously, if it's gonna be 5 on highways and whatever, so we've got to discuss that before that fact, right?
I'm not sure what you mean. No, we designated the 6.5.
Right.
Yep, and then all of the projects we had already identified, so we know where
Okay.
that 6.5 is going. Well, some of it is
Yeah,
for
so this is what
closing
we
costs.
okayed in this year's budget,
Yeah.
so we'll have to come around again next year, yeah.
So when you adopted
And,
your,
and this, I don't remember that either, so this is gonna be a separate financing and a separate payment. We're not packaging that in with anything.
there's no refinancing included in this issue, so this will be all new money for your 2025
Just
capital
be-
plan.
So
Yep.
that's what we're looking forward,
Correct.
that we'll be doing annuals. And the
We're not
payment-
borrowing for a subsequent year, correct?
Yeah,
So
the
there's
payment
no-
will be an annual payment, yeah, okay.
Yep, this is just the one-time.
Maybe asking questions that sound foolish, but I'm
Nope,
asking.
happy to
anyway.
answer whatever you
No,
have.
it's been a while since we talked about it.
Okay,
and-
thank you very much, yeah, thank you.
And this,
comment the 6.55, and that increase is a result of the cost of the financing, correct?
The way we have it built right now includes all costs, and that total was $6,455,000. So not knowing for sure what the numbers would look like, we tend to always aim a little high with the authorizing resolution so that we don't run into any issues as we go forward in time. That way, because once you've established that number, the only way to reset it is to come back to the county board, get a new authorizing resolution, which requires a 3/4 vote of the board. So we always put a little bit of margin in there, knowing that we're going to be less than that number.
and when I brought the 6.5 forward, that included I had talked to Brian, and that included
Right.
the closing costs in there, plus our projects for 26, yeah.
And you made it pretty clear, but I'm gonna ask again, so we're gonna be somewhere just over 4%.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee you where you're going to land between now and March 17th. The market's going to do what it's going to do.
Right.
So based on planning estimates, maybe a little over 4%. Again,
Okay.
rates have come down a bit recently, and we'll see how this week unfolds. Even from last week to this week, intermediate and long-term rates have actually come in a bit with the news of the tariffs and whatnot. People get a little antsy and they start to buy safe and secure investments like treasuries, which pushes down their returns, their yields. So fingers crossed, and we should all, pray to the interest rate gods between now and then, and we'll get favorable results.
This probably means I asked the wrong question or something earlier on, but on the tax impact, why did we end up going with the great big one in '26 and then creeping back off for '27, '28?
That'll be for a number of reasons. Number one, there was definitely a motivation to make sure that the short-lived assets were paid off fairly rapidly. This ensures that, first and foremost. Secondarily, by going up and then dropping down, you've preserved some additional levy capacity for some new debt service. And so rather than taking the stair-step approach, and I'll go the opposite way when you're looking at me, rather than take the stair-step approach as you add on any new debt, it was viewed as favorable that we go up a little higher, number one, to make sure that we're paying off things that have a 3 to 5 year life, are retired by that point in time with principal amortization. But then number two, to provide some additional, a gap between subsequent years where you could add additional levy without having a bigger impact from a tax standpoint. So you can see where those step downs occur. The plan as we go forward, if the county continues to borrow, that we take advantage of those drops and we can add new debt service and try to stay as levy neutral as possible.
Thank you.
And this is just informational, so we don't necessarily need any action other than our intent is to proceed. We've already kind of started gears of motion, drafting of documents, getting all the various calls and meetings in place to push things ahead, again, with the intent of coming back to you on March 17th with results.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Does your graph take into account, do we pay anything, any old GO bonds off or anything in this?
Yeah, you can't see a lot of the underlying details, so there is debt that is going away.
Is this reflected or is this?
It is reflected. So
It is?
this is representative of what you levy for to pay principal and interest on existing debt. The orange bar in there is your existing debt. The blue is this new issue. And underlying the orange are various other issues that do go to zero
So we pay,
periodically.
we pay something off in 29 there, it looks like.
You pay some off, 28 going into 29, then again 32 to 33. What you see for the orange bar in 33, the $3 million-ish number, that's how much the payment is on the Justice Center financing alone.
Oh, okay.
So just that single issue, that's how much the payment requirements were over the 20-year period. So it was $43 million, so that's, you know, those are the requirements when you borrow that kind of money.
Okay. Anything else? I guess, unless you have something else for us, we'll
I don't, we can think of stuff if you'd like. I don't.
look forward to seeing
Something.
you next month.
All right, very good. It's good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
making the trip.
Okay, moving on with that, I don't see anything on the phone and was there anybody sitting in the audience that wished to ask a question about our agenda or anything today? I don't see anybody. So I'll close out the public comment period. Next, county sales tax update. Anything to say, Mary, or are we supposed to just look at it?
I don't have too much. I'm still kind of new to the process, but I did, sorry, I'm trying to find my sheet. It's the general fund. It takes 2 months into the new year that you're still closing out the old year, so I think we still have, is there still one left on the sheet to fill in? I don't have it with me.
It does
Show the
look,
complete
it does look
picture
like
for-
we're going to meet budget with it, with not much left
For
over, a little bit
24.
maybe.
Here it is.
And the other one is, let's see, you handed
We
that
still
out
have,
here
we still have the
someplace.
February payment to show, to complete the 24.
Okay.
So we're 244,000 roughly to hopefully catch up to make our amount that you had set in 24 budget.
And you handed out the general fund, and I had it someplace, and now it's in this.
I got one here for you.
I think the only thing that shows up is that was reduced by the 400,000 that we, last month, full
Correct,
county
from
board,
county
we
board, yeah.
took
Yeah.
that out of it and put it
Yeah.
in highway funding.
Yes.
So that brought the number down to 2,587,000.
Yes.
Any questions on either one of those? Okay. Let's see, that one's done. Aha, we got to the department reports and requests. And Michelle, is she here? Yes, there she is.
Here
I thought you were here
I'm
earlier.
here. All right, I've been doing this for a month now. Did anybody have any questions on the investment report that you have?
Oh, right here.
Well,
No, I think we're good. Good print
okay.
out here.
Okay, good.
Okay,
I-
just a few things I'll update you on. We all know the interest rates are dropping. Last year at this time, we were at 4.61% for LGIP. Or, last year we were at 5.38% for LGIP, and this year we are at 4.61%.
They're all dropping, all the
Yes,
CDs are
they
down
are-
4.1.
Yeah, they are really dropping. For property delinquencies, last year we were at $860,724. This year, end of December 31st, we are $822,933.92. We have CSI Sands. They are currently in foreclosure. They haven't paid their taxes from 2021 to present. The foreclosure is currently at $110,926. And then with the 22, 23, and 24 taxes, we are looking at $251,801.62. And last time, when they were in foreclosure, by now they already reached out, their attorneys reached out to us about setting up payments. We haven't heard anything currently, so I'm not sure if this will eventually go through.
Okay.
And that's 103 acres that they have. It's in the city of Arcadia and town of Arcadia. Any questions? Is there anything else you guys would like me to
Oh,
be
that-
reporting on?
All right. That's as good as we've been getting, so thank you.
Okay.
Okay, no questions, we will move on, thank you. Is Sue here?
Nope.
Didn't see her. So I guess we'll hold off on the registered deeds. If she walks in, we'll fit her in someplace. Got that one done. Okay, item 13, I believe we're at. I don't think I've missed any. Discussion/action on county meal reimbursement policy. Does somebody like a Rebecca have something for us on that, for opening the discussion?
I've forgotten what it is right now. Do you know what it is?
Meal reimbursement policy, I'm sorry, I'm not aware what this.
I think it was
I
like
think
9 for breakfast or something. and-
No, it's 9 for breakfast now, but I think they're all went up, they went up quite a bit, because the other ones
Yeah.
are like, I think for supper, or dinner, it was like $10 or something
Oh,
like
no.
that.
Oh, you're talking about
Price.
county employees?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that, you can't even get it's hard to get breakfast. Now, breakfast now is like 7, I think. You
7.
can't even get go to
No, I think
McDonald's for 7, what is it? I got it here. But this is what it is now, or what they want to move it to?
No, it's what it is.
Could you read that to us?
I
I
can't-
got that, but I thought that was what they're, Okay.
What is it?
It's $9 for breakfast, $11 for lunch, and $20 for dinner.
9, 11, and 20?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the resolution we got on our computer, unless you,
Yeah, that was what has been,
9, 11, and 20?
yeah, which don't really cover nothing.
I know we set this last year, we discussed it and set it. I remember there being kind of two schools of thought that, well, if you were at home, you were going to need to eat. And on $40 a day for someone to eat in the city of Appleton or where a lot of these conferences are held, whether it be Madison, Green Bay, or whatever, is not enough typically if you're eating 3 meals a day. Even if you go down to 2 meals a day, you can't hardly get an entree. Most of these people, if they're captive audience in a hotel and they're attending training for whatever reason, are county employees, you're probably by yourself or with another individual, and you're eating in the hotel so that you don't incur travel to another restaurant. And I just do not see $20 for dinner is, I think, a low number.
Well, I think for breakfast, it's really, and dinner. And
Well, I
lunch.
think
And
they're
lunch
all
expected
low.
too. Yeah, because, like I say, at breakfast, even $9, you go to this,
Yeah.
we just got back from one over, what you call it?
Yeah.
I
Lunch
would-
for a hamburger and fries was 13, 15.
And there are some people that have dinner, don't have breakfast, don't have lunch. Some conferences offer box lunches, to sit-down lunches, whatever that might be. My suggestion is to gather some information yet and potentially just go to a per diem rate because it saves a lot of clerical time. People aren't looking and checking employees' receipts. They just know that if they go to a conference, they get a flat amount for the day, and once they've attended, they are reimbursed. That would be my suggestion. I don't know exactly where that number would be. I know it would have to be more than $40. But if we could gather some information on, say, average costs in some of these towns and bring it back to this committee and have a discussion, because I think we need more information.
Just to add to that, just to move forward with this, you were talking, I had some numbers, but I said 40 to 50. I think we got to keep looking at it. I don't know if we want, this is changing so fast out there.
Yeah.
And restaurants and even McDonald's of the world, their staff went from $10 an hour to closer to 20.
I can bring back numbers for you.
You want to do
for
it
the
that
next
way instead
meeting.
of just going to
Yeah.
50 for
Yeah.
a year
Yeah.
and then waiting? Okay.
And if we do go to per diem, I think we should bring back some ideas. Okay, let's say on a Wednesday, your meetings go from 8 to noon. You know, the per diem's just for the whole day, and they're not gonna eat supper, so is the way we just pay like a half a day or something like that. So
Yeah,
they're-
we could
you
set
know,
up like
something
a
like
full
that.
day per diem and then like a half-day
Half-
conference
yeah.
per diem or
Something like
Yeah,
to that.
just
effect.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I think we just need more information on the, kind of the average meals so that
Sure. Yeah.
we're not penalizing the employees for getting the training that they're getting.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to put that burden on the employee.
Right.
He's going
Then
there,
we
or
should-
they are going there to learn something to help us be better here, and then they gotta starve or dig out of their own pocket for it.
Bring this up for March, so we're not lagging on it.
Yeah.
And make a decision then, does
Yeah.
that sound good? Yeah.
I agree with you, Doc.
I agree.
I know it's just at a county meeting for the Utility Tax Association at breakfast at the park, and it was $17 for breakfast,
Wow.
just for, and that was for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And the coffee was free because they had it outside.
Okay, is that agreed? We'll just move this to the March meeting with Rebecca bringing back some suggested numbers for us?
Yep.
Okay. It seems though Sue is here, we'll move back and ask her to give a report.
Okay. Have to talk. Well, this is my first quarterly update, so I'm not really sure what you're looking for from me. So I will just say what's happened in the last month.
Perfect.
So, we hired a new employee, and she is doing phenomenal. She is great. She's learning very quick. The employee that's currently in there is stepping up and doing a lot of the training, which helps me, frees me up to look at some other things that I need to do. So I really appreciate that. They are just both phenomenal in looking at what's best for the office and the county in general, so I like that. We do have a media conversion project, and I'm not sure if I've shown you all this timeline, if you care to see it.
Mostly what we care about is you're getting it done and you have the money for it.
Yes, it was in the budget, so there is money for it. It's a timely process, so we have been working on identifying all of the documents, so the ones that we want them to scan, we have to give a unique identifying number to. So we have been working on that, so we have to handwrite on every single document, which, for them, so they can basically scan it and then tie the image to that document number so we can index. So we are working on that, and then we also have some marriage volumes. There's like 6, and they're like 600 pages each that have some social security numbers on them, so we're working on redacting those numbers as well. And that's about it right now, which seems to be a lot. It's keeping us very busy.
So obviously you found a good client, and did you have some choices there, so we're getting applicants for jobs? Yeah. good.
Yes, yes.
I would say Sue's doing a great job in that management of new personnel, and it's going really well, and she's done a really nice job on that transition.
Does anybody have any questions?
Glad you got some exercise.
Yeah. Well, I ran up the first time and it was in closed session, so then I ran back.
Okay, no questions? We'll load up for next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New county surveyor introduction, and there's Ann, I thought I saw her.
Good morning. You guys asked me to bring the new county surveyor in, introduce him, so you get to know him, see his face. Here he is. It's Cody Bromerick.
I'm Cody Bromerick. I'm from Whitehall here, taking over for Joe after 30 years. Live outside of Pleasantville. Yeah, the transition's been pretty seamless so far. I was in here a few days before he was done at the end of the year. Learned his filing system, kind of where things are stored, so it's gone really well.
Good.
Any questions?
Oh, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Welcome
Appreciate
aboard,
it.
yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Any land or survey questions, feel free to get a hold of me, here to help, so.
Fortunate to have a person so local, so we're glad.
Yeah, I was happy to get it.
Some office hours.
Yeah, for the obviously today's different, come here, but for the most part, I'll be here Tuesdays from 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then if those hours ever do change, I typically send out a email to a bunch of people, letting them know ahead of time.
What was
Thank
it?
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Was it all
Thank
day,
you.
or what were the hours?
8 to 4:30.
8 to 4, regular
Yeah.
hours, okay. And I understood that you did spend some time with Joe in the field too, actually what I'm subcontracting and stuff, so you're a little familiar? Yeah.
Yeah, I did all the field work here in Trumpealeau County last year, and then I've known Joe for years.
Yep.
Yeah,
Should work out well for
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
us.
yeah,
Okay,
happy to be here. Thank you.
thank you. Next item, the update on strategic planning RFP.
So I just wanted to let you know, we were going to do an opening of the RFP today, and we just had some internal issues with getting this posted because of the transition that happened with the clerk's office and such, and so we held off on getting that out, and so we needed to get that publicly posted, and that was put in the newspaper. And so we put that in for, well, the dates are just bumped back a little bit, so I just wanted you to be aware of that. It'll open the documents at the March meeting, and I just postponed the start date by about a week and a half or so to March 18th. So, so far, we've had 2 individuals that have expressed interest in that, so. But otherwise, it's still moving forward. It's just that we had to get it publicly posted.
Okay. And that will still work within our time frame, basically, that we needed down the road?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Shouldn't really set us off too far. The one change is that I am out for a conference when you have your March meeting, so I'm hoping to attend that virtually, but I won't be here in person for the next meeting.
Okay, then, just to clarify for me, then, if you're not here, that's the opening of the documents and awarding of a bid or recommending the award of that at that meeting?
Yes, at the next Exec Finance Committee meeting.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Which is March 3rd.
okay, so, and then who will be opening the documents for us?
So I will, Susan will be here for that
Susan, okay,
meeting then, yeah.
okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay, good. We can move on to the next one. Review and discuss 2025 Government Solutions Contract for Independent Financial Services.
And so you got a copy of the contract agreement. Susan has approved or gone through this and approved the document. And basically, we have them for a set amount of funds for $20,000, not to exceed. They'll keep us posted. Some of these things can take longer than others, and so we're just using them, though, for, as we kind of talked about, the Diane out at the roads, out at Highway Department still wants to and needs to work with them on some of the changes to the funding balances that they were working toward. And then we're also talking with them about making some changes to the, looking at a shared motor pool here at the county. And so they'll be working with us, and then also, again, assisting a bit with the budget process as we move through that. So I just wanted to share that with you and to make you aware.
These are the 2 guys that you always have.
Correct.
That,
The same ones that we worked with.
yeah, the 2 guys I don't like.
What's that?
I mean, they will let us know when they reach their final $20,000 to let the committee know and not just you,
Yeah.
so wherever, because I still have not sold on those 2 guys yet,
Okay.
so. I'm just being honest. I mean, they can make a judgment on us here and they never even come here. That's the part it upsets me, I'm sorry. I mean, they may be very, very good, but that's the part I didn't like about them.
Sure.
And I think if they show interest in us and want our contract, at least come here, look around and see exactly what we are dealing with, And
They did initially. They did initially. They were here for several days initially when they started. But
I did meet them when they were first here.
yeah, lucky fella.
if you'd like, I can have them come back, but that's a cost because then it's
It's
extra
$50
time.
an hour for the
Yeah,
car
that's-
ride. Oh,
There you go.
I mean, I hope they don't take a taxi.
That's right.
But when they do come up, I would appreciate. Just let me know. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on that item?
Nope, that's it.
Item 17, discussion/action on the creation and delegation to subcommittee to hear certain delinquent property payment claims.
Don't we currently have a committee that at least initially looks
The
at
committee's
these?
not, the policy is not there.
Okay.
We had Susan research it.
I think does this come from Susan?
Yes.
Okay. And she's not here, so I would just.
She was here for a little bit. and
Yeah,
left again.
she just got back. She's been on vacation, so I would ask if we could table this to next month. And I'll
Well,
follow
actually,
up
it's
with her.
Yeah, but it's actually something that should be done. It's been brought
I
up.
think
Okay,
we're getting to
This
it.
is from last year's taxes
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
okay.
He got penalized because of our mail system. I think he mailed it to box 67 or something, and it didn't work.
And
And
the
a good
committee.
example of
yeah.
that, that's what RCU did with the county credit card when Paul left. He had made all kinds of reservations for us and stuff with his county card, and it
Okay.
got canceled. And they mailed it to it took like 3 weeks to get the card.
Yeah.
'Cause it
Did
takes
you
that
have,
long.
did you have a discussion with Susan about this? What that,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, and who did she did you talk about who would be on this committee?
I think it's in the, I think it's in the
I think there's a
resolution.
proposed resolution in
Oh,
here.
I'm
Let me
sorry.
see. I had one someplace anyway.
It's,
Take me out.
I know it's in there. Where the heck is it?
No, it isn't here. I had it
On
someplace
the,
else.
on the back page.
You have it, Mary?
But basically what it is, according to that resolution,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was designated the administrator, the board chair, and the chair of exec finance
Oh,
form
that's
this
right.
three-person committee to determine whether the post office maybe had a problem, but we can't prove it.
That's
And
right.
then it's up to this committee to decide, was it a postal problem or not?
Yep,
That's the quick version.
yep. And I'm sorry, I read that previous, and, yeah, so I would think this, to John's point, this is an issue that's been outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had worked through this and
Yeah.
determined those individuals, but it would be, if we could take that forward, it would be helpful to have a subcommittee addressing this as issues come forward.
Right,
When there are problems, yeah.
So
So I'll make that motion to,
move this on to full county board to create this committee?
yes.
Okay.
And you said, could you just list the members before? Chair of exec finance, chair of the
Administrator,
board.
and chair of exec finance.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. You're right here.
Yep.
All three of you. Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further questions on that? All in favor of moving this on, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Yes, actually, last month, I asked Susan if she could work this up because it was getting kind of stretched out. Hey, look at that. Confirm the date and time of the next regular meeting, March 3rd, 2025 at 8:30 in the morning. Any problems with that, the regular?
zooming in for that.
Okay.
I know me.
Okay, that will be the next meeting date, and at that point, I will adjourn this meeting at 10:55.